We're not strong enough to handle both committing to God and both committing to the world. We can't handle it. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, the FinisHER Network. My name is Victoria and I upload Christ-centered content around business, ministry, and lifestyle. So if any of that interests you, I highly suggest that you subscribe. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about the dangers of a double mind. Not only that, we're gonna be talking about the impacts of being double-minded, and most importantly, how do you overcome being a double-minded person in order to strengthen your relationship with God. So let's get into the video. I want to offer a definition for you on what a double mind is. A double mind is when we are torn between two conflicting perspectives or choices. In spiritual terms, it is when we waver between faith in God and doubt, or between following Christ and pursuing worldly desires. Having a double mind is essentially you having two conflicting perspectives and two conflicting entities at war with each other. There's a conflict between your spirit and your flesh. There is conflict between what Christ wants you to do and what culture wants you to do. And so that leads us into the impacts of having a double mind. The first impact of having a double mind is that you are unstable in your decision making. Because here you have your spirit at war with your flesh. When you can't make up your mind on who you want to serve or what you want to serve, you become indecisive and essentially you become reckless in what you decide. To provide some biblical backup, let's turn to James chapter 1, verse 8. And it says, "A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways." If your spirit isn't fit, if your spirit isn't rooted, if your spirit isn't grounded, if your spirit isn't anchored to the source of God, your flesh will win every single time. So having instability in your decision making is a clear telltale sign and impact of being double-minded. The second impact of having a double mind, you essentially hinder your relationship with God when you are divided in the middle, when you're on the fence. You choose God on Sundays and then you pick back up on what the world wants you to do on Monday. That is double-mindedness. And when you do that, you hinder and stifle your relationship with God. And when you hinder your relationship with God, you essentially stunt your spiritual growth. Here on the FinisHER Network, we're helping each other to grow in our faith with Jesus Christ. And so if your decision making is torn between your spirit and your flesh, what Christ wants and what the world wants, and you don't pick a side or you're inconsistent in your choice, then you essentially stunt your spiritual growth. So double-mindedness has not only a personal impact, but a spiritual impact as well. Now let's talk about how do you overcome a double mind. The first tip I have in overcoming a double mind is 1, seeking God's wisdom. As it says in Proverbs 3:5, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Here in Proverbs, it clearly encourages us to lean into God's wisdom, because as God is the one who knows all, sees all, does all, and has everything in his hands, why wouldn't we want to trust him? Why wouldn't we want to seek him out for insight? Because when you are in devotion with what he says, especially what he says about you, he calls you the apple of his eye. He calls you to have a discerning mind. He calls you to have a sound mind. Because he said in his word, "I have not given you the spirit of fear, but I have given you the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind." So setting out time to daily commune with God, seeing what he says about making a choice, will help you overcome a double mind. And so that leads me into the second tip. We have to fully commit to Christ. We have to fully commit to Christ. And I can speak on this personally, that even in my spiritual journey, I know that I cannot have it both ways. I know that I cannot serve the Lord while also entertaining world's desires. I know that I cannot fully commit myself to Christ while also trying to be 1 foot in and 1 foot out with the world. I can't do it. And so making a decision to fully commit to Christ will help you overcome a double mind. And to give you some biblical backup on fully committing to Christ, we're going to come from Matthew 6:24, and it says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other." So here in this scripture, we have Jesus talking about the impossibility of having divided loyalty. Jesus is like, you're going to be committed to me, or you're going to be committed to the world. You can't have both. Because again, we're humans. We're not strong enough to handle both committing to God and both committing to the world. We can't handle it. And God has called us to be fully committed vessels to Christ. If there is anything in your life that is pulling you away from making that committed decision consistently, then it's time to cut it off. It's time to cut that thing off at the root, because you're going to continue to have a double mind that have you believe that you can serve Christ while also still being in the world. It doesn't work like that. And so that is my second tip in overcoming a double mind. Fully committing to Christ. Fully commit to Christ, y'all. My third tip in how to overcome a double mind: pray for unity in your mind. Because when you have a single track mind on Him, everything else will follow and fall in place. I promise you. But when you're divided and when you're put in situations when you have to make a decision between Christ and culture, baby, you better choose Christ. Choose what Christ wants you to do. Choose what God and Jesus has put you on this earth to do, which is serve the Lord in all of your doing, in all of your ways, in all of your words. Don't get me wrong, we're going to fall short at times, but God gives us grace to pick back up again and to choose Him. Every day that we're given, every new breath that we're given, it's a new opportunity to choose Christ, to choose Him, to choose to serve the Lord in all that we do. And so pray for unity in your mind. Another practical tip in how to overcome a double mind is have accountability partners. Y'all, we are not meant to do this life alone. God has put us on this earth to do life together with Him in the middle. And so get you some accountability partners. Get you some people who have your best interest at heart. Get you some people who are on the same journey and spiritual growth journey that you are on, and hold each other accountable. For me, I have my church family. I have my best friends around me who are on a spiritual journey with Jesus Christ as well. And so we hold each other accountable. And if you don't have anybody in your physical space who can help you, that's why we have the Faith FinisHER network, to hold each other accountable. Even if you need an accountability partner, like this video and even leave a comment down below. And so those are my practical tips on how to overcome a double mind. That's all I have for today. I pray this video has shined some light on what a double mind is, the dangerous impacts of a double mind, and most importantly, how do you overcome being double-minded. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, and also leave your comments down below. Have you struggled with a double mind? Are you currently facing conflict between your spirit and your flesh? And so meet me down in the comments, and I'll be sure to share more of my story, and let's just continue the conversation about overcoming a double mind. And as always, remember to finish your faith, and I'll see you guys in the next video.